All right, everyone. Welcome to the Word of Truth Ministry KJV channel once again. And, of course, my name is Pastor Mike. Let's get right into the strengths and maybe the weaknesses of these temperaments. Got a lot of ground to cover, and I haven't done this for a long time. So, we're going to dive into it and see what we come up with here. I hope you enjoy this study and get some practical value out of it. Remember, the object of this is to understand our strengths and weaknesses. I'll speak to that here in a minute. And then to realize that the Spirit-controlled temperament is outlined for us by Paul in Galatians 5. I think it's 22 and 23. Had trouble with that last week. I think I said it was, or last broadcast, I said it was Galatians 6:9. I don't know where I was going with that. But anyway, Galatians 5. And when we're finished here, we'll talk about that. But I did want to say that these temperaments, strengths and weaknesses that we're going to look at right now, I would call these the fruit of the flesh. All right? Galatians 5 tells us what the fruit of the Spirit is. And by the way, it is fruit, singular, of the Spirit. Maybe these are fruits of the flesh. I don't care how we look at them. But it just struck me after last week's broadcast that these were the fruits or fruit of the flesh. And I want to make this point. We're about to go through the strengths of the four temperaments, but these strengths are sin. We know the weaknesses are sin, but the strengths are sin too, because these are the fruit of the flesh. And so motive behind even these good things. And this is the problem with people that think they can work their way to heaven somehow by being good and doing good things and trying to be right and, you know, having a good heart or whatever. They figure, and if you're listening to this broadcast right now, give it up. Give it up. All have sinned and come short of the glory of God. All of these are fruit of the flesh. They are short of the glory of God. Okay? Because motive plays into this. God reads the heart. And He knows that when you do these good things, number one, they were born into you. Okay, they were programmed into you. So they're not necessarily of your doing in the sense of struggling to do it or working hard at doing it. These are the things that just, you know, they're part of your personality, your makeup. And their strengths, then they're just there, okay? But even when we do these good works, good things, have these good characteristics, have these, what we call strengths, you know, of these temperaments, they're done for fleshly reasons. They're done for pride. They're done for arrogance. They're done for people to recognize us. They're done so that people will laud us and applaud us and whatever. So keep that in mind. Even though you hear these good things, they are fruit or fruits of the flesh. All right. Now, we're going to start out, of course, with Sparky Sanguine. And hopefully this works. Up on the screen now, you should see a list of the temperament strengths for Sparky Sanguine. And we have 4 columns here. Excuse the itchy nose, okay? We have 4 columns here, and we're going to fill these in as we go along. Same thing with as we move along the weaknesses. All right. So they're up there, and you can write these down. I'll be toggling back and forth between the two if this works properly. And so, get your paper and pencil out. If you don't want to buy the book and you want to have a reference to these temperament strengths and weaknesses, there they are. Write them down. All right. So, number 1, Sparky Sanguine is enjoying. He enjoys life. It's like I said before, this is the quote-unquote party guy. And he just has a good time. When you are around a sanguine, their good nature and joking and jovial, a way of being, okay, carries you along. They are the life of the party. They just enjoy life. They are the most enjoying temperament. The phlegmatic temperament can be enjoying, but it's quiet. They're quiet about it. The sanguines can't be quiet. They're talkers. They're storytellers. They're jokers. They're having a great time, and they want you to have a great time too. All right, so they waken in the morning in a happy mood. A lot of time you'll find them whistling and singing through life. They're the whistlers and the singers. And it doesn't matter whether they're, at their job. Excuse me here. I'm sorry about this. Just got an itchy nose. I don't know what that means. Maybe somebody's going to give me money or something. I don't know. Okay. Whatever that means. It means it itches. Okay. They whistle and sing through life. Might be at work. Might be, whatever they're doing. They just tend to be whistlers and singers. They're happy. And they wake up in the morning and, the melancholy drives a melancholy crazy. They wake up in the morning happy. They just roll out of bed and they're happy and they might start singing and they get busy about things and they're partying around and throwing open the curtains and, letting in the light and whatever. You might be laying there thinking, should be quiet. Okay. So, again, they get up in a happy mood, basically. Not all the times. There's always what we call, exceptions to the rule. So, but for the most part, they wake up happy. They wake up kind of busy, and they can whistle and sing and make a lot of noise and are just real restless and active, getting with it in the morning. They are never bored. They're never bored, okay? Now, I'm under the enjoying up here on the temperament strengths. I'm under the subheading of enjoying, and then we'll be optimistic, friendly, compassionate, okay? So, they're never bored. They always find something to do. As a matter of fact, on the minus side, they're restless, and we'll talk about that in a bit. Well, not in a bit, because we're gonna try to cover all 4, and it's probably all I can do in this session. Try to cover the 4 temperament strengths, and then we'll be coming back to the temperament weaknesses. All right, so they can always find something to do, something fun to them, okay, to do. They are busy people, and they have a good time, and they'll bounce from one thing to another. But they are never bored, and they're always busy. They're always active. Okay? All right, they're optimistic. It's up there on the chart. They're optimistic. Okay? Sparky Sanguine lives in the present. And because of that, it's easy for them to forget the past and to give very little thought to the future. They're optimistic about the here and now. Everything's okay. It's all right. Yesterday was a good day. Today's going to be even a better day. Okay? And they just have no real worries about the future. They are not concerned about the future because they don't give it any thought. They are too busy living in today. They are too busy doing what needs to be done now. And what needs to be done now, generally for them, is something enjoyable. Okay? They don't get involved in things that they don't enjoy. They just stay busy having a good time, okay, for the most part. Now, again, there's exceptions. There's bumps in the road, and they have minuses too. These people sound like, wow, I'd like to be this. Well, there's some of this. Every one of these strengths you want to be, all the weaknesses you don't want to be. But we are what we are. All right, if they had a mantra, it would be, tomorrow is going to be better than today. That'd be their mantra. They just are easily inspired to begin new plans and projects. They again, on the minus side, they're restless. And so they're not the kind that have one thing they like to do, and they do it really well, and they stick with it, and they learn everything there is to learn about it, and it consumes them. That is their life. One or maybe two things. No. Not the sanguine. The sanguine is, if it's fun, let's do it. And they can think of all kinds of fun things to do, and they just, they can flip from one thing to another to another. Again, it's hard not to talk about the minus sides, the weaknesses, but they get restless about life, and so they don't have a tendency to stick to things. But they're never bored, and they're always busy. Okay? They're always busy. All right, they're friendly. How could you be the life of the party if you weren't friendly? Okay, so you don't almost take that for granted. They're friendly. They have a lot of friends. They're not deep friendships. They're shallow friendships, but they have a lot of friends because they attract a lot of people. The sanguine, fun, this is great, I'm just having a great time, drags a lot of people with them, okay? So they're outgoing. These are the handshaking, backslapping, cheerful people, and they just have a good time. And for the most part, and if everybody else isn't having a good time, they do their best to get everybody to have a good time, okay? So if they're in a group and they find somebody off in the corner who isn't having a good time, they'll gravitate over there, tell them some jokes, try to get them to laugh. A melancholy sitting over in the corner. And then they go over there and they try to get them involved, or a phlegmatic, because phlegmatic's sitting there just grinning, getting a kick out of this person shooting off their mouth and being real loud and telling stupid jokes. Okay, so the sanguines are cheerful, and they love people, and again, they make friends easily, and they are inclusive of the shy. As I said, they want everybody to have a good time, so they're just going to move in. And they're going to try to pull people out of their depression or pull them out. They make good therapists, and counselors, especially for depression, things like that. And they're great nurses, doctors. I mean, they have good bedside manner. They're just nice people, okay? All right, and then lastly, and I'm looking at the clock here and thinking, wow, I think I'm halfway done today with my time, and I haven't finished one temperament, so I'm not going to worry about it. This might take four sessions. I don't know, but it's fun to me. I think it would be of value to you, or I wouldn't be doing this. All right, they're compassionate. They have a tender and compassionate heart. They're quick to tears. They get into if you're telling them about something that hurts you, or they're hearing a sad story, or they're telling a sad story. I see a lot of this, not a lot, but I see preachers like that over the years, that when they tell a story and it's a sad story, they'll start crying. Or if they're talking about the crucifixion, they get into it. I mean, it's part of their nature. They'll start to cry and blubber, and it's sweet. It really is sweet. They really have a tender heart. And they have a compassionate heart, and that is another thing why people gravitate to sanguines, is because, like your introverts, not so much the phlegmatic, because the phlegmatic's always kind of like this, at arm's length, but the melancholy will get swept up in the sanguine, because the sanguine does have a genuine love and affection and hurt for these hurt people, okay? And so they respond to the needs of others real well. If they're handing out the dollars on the street corner to the panhandlers, they're getting involved in the social injustice problems. They're involved in life, and they want to make a difference in life, and they make a difference in life. They do. The sanguine is the kind of person, these are extroverts. The sanguine, is the A+. And they can't help but make an impression. How lasting that impression is, and the minuses that are part of that, personality, that blunts it and stunts it. But boy, a 100% sanguine that is, on the spirit-controlled side of things would be, quite a nice person to be around. Okay. But there are things about the sanguine, about Sparky, that are difficult. When we get to the weaknesses that, like I say, kind of stunt some of this. They know just intuitively what it means to rejoice with those that rejoice and weep with those that weep. They just get they're emotional, and they get emotionally involved in people and the people that they are talking to, dealing with. Now, the minute they walk away, it's going to turn to somebody else. It's not very lasting, but in the moment, they are feeling and emotional. And a final statement here. I copied this out of Tim's book. No one can love you more and forget you faster than a sanguine. Okay? No one can love you more, but forget you faster than a sanguine. All right, let's move on. And I've got to pick this up on the... what do we want here? Nope. We want the strengths of the choleric. Okay, there we go. All right, so we've got the A- in front of us. And this is the choleric. And I'm trying hard not to get real deep into this and say a lot of things that I've said before, so that we can move right along. All right, Rocky choleric. So what are Rocky's strengths? Well, first of all, he is strong-willed, as you can see on the chart. All right, he's strong-willed. And that's a good thing. It is a good thing. Tempered, it's a good thing. Okay? He is self-disciplined and self-determining. He has that something inside that is kind of unbreakable. These are the people that go up against the odds and win. These are the people that persevere to the end. They're falling off that cliff, but somehow they hang on by their fingernails. They get it done, okay? They're confident and aggressive. Now, there's a plus side to being confident and aggressive, and of course, there's a minus side. We'll talk about the minus side later. But let's just think of the plus side of confident and aggressive. These people do not sit in the corner and hope that things change. They don't, they don't react by saying, "Wow, this is terrible. I guess we're just going to have to, grin and bear it or bite the bullet." No. They'll change it. They're going to make the changes. Okay. These people are always on the move. Now, interestingly enough, the sanguine is also, as we're going to find out, and I've already referenced it, restless. Their activity is kind of aimless. Talking about Sparky, sanguine. But Rocky choleric, no. His moving, his movement is, he is determined to get things done. And everything that he does is for that end. Okay? It's with that end in view. And much more likely to get involved in one or just a couple of things in life and see it through, or at a time. He might, he'll get a project going, and everything else goes by the wayside. He gets centered in on that project, and he sees it through. And it's going to get done. It's going to get done because he's determined that it's going to get done. Okay? They have a singleness of purpose. Like I said, they kind of zone in on what needs to be done, what they've decided to do, and it's, as we'll see, it's normally utilitarian. He doesn't waste his time on what he considers frivolous things. These are life things that need done, okay? These are most often big and important things that he needs to accomplish. These people, they need to accomplish something, and it's utilitarian, it's useful. All right. They accomplish what they set out to do, not because their plans are better than everybody else's plans, but because once they set a plan in motion, no matter how bad it might be, they're going to see it through. And they'll make the changes they have to make to get things done. So the plan is kind of secondary. They're different than, say, the melancholy, who they have to have their plan laid out ahead of time. They're really analytical and they get it all figured out. And then when they set out on their plan, they follow their plan because they already thought about all the pitfalls and all the trouble. Not Rocky Choleric. Rocky just gets going and then he adjusts however he has to adjust to keep going. He keeps his eye on the goal, makes any adjustments he has to make to get to that goal. Okay. Secondly, he's practical. All right? Time spent on utilitarian projects, not frivolous things. He's involved in things that matter. He's a good organizer of people, not necessarily of details. Rocky Choleric can be very cluttered, very messy. He does not like detail, but he can organize people. He can say, you there, go here, go there. In an emergency, you want a choleric around. They're going to just jump right in there and do their thing. This is EMTs, ambulance people, all that. I mean, you want somebody that's decisive. Hopefully they know what they're doing. Sometimes they don't. Sometimes, they just dive in, but they're a little bit more self-confident sometimes than they should be. But they're good at what they do. And especially if they know what they're doing, they just dive in and they, you go here, you get this, do this, go there. I mean, they get it done. Okay? They're efficient. They're efficient at it. All right. They're good organized people, not details. Their decisions are reached by intuition, though, rather than analytical reasoning. In other words, they are victims sometimes of snap decisions. Well, actually, I guess they always tend to snap decisions. It's just that most of the time their snap decisions are fine, or they make it fine. They make it work. Okay? But they have a tendency to just rise to the occasion on the face value of something and dive in and get it done to the best of their ability. All right? They do make snap decisions, but they get it done and they have a practical bend of mind. They're not willy-nilly. They don't just run around and go, oh, now let's see what, okay, well, nope. They're here, there, do this, go there, let's get that, and they get it done. All right. Thirdly, they are leaders. These are the born leaders. They're forceful, and their forceful will dominates a group. They're real quick to volunteer. They're like often the first, to volunteer. And they're bold in emergencies, as I said before. And so they are born leaders. And they are the people that are out there. Like I said, both the sanguine and the choleric are in-your-face people. The sanguine is a happy, fun, telling jokes, slapping you on the back, trying to get you to enjoy life in-your-face person. Rocky is not that way at all. Rocky is, we need to do this, and you need to do this, and you need to go there and do that, and we've got to get this done, and we've got to do it today, and we got to do it now, and this is how we're going to do it. And that's how they're in your face. And they are the ones, politicians and religious leaders, all that stuff. They're the ones out there, quote unquote, running the show. Now, when we see the minus sides, you start realizing there's a lot of pitfalls here, but we're just looking at the plus sides now. Okay. They are takeover guys. They're good judges of people. And like I said before, they're the first normally to volunteer. All right, and then finally, they are optimistic. It's going to happen, folks. It's going to happen. Rocky Choleric doesn't know no. N-O. He doesn't K-N-O-W N-O. He doesn't know. He doesn't take no for an answer. It's going to get done. They're self-confident again. They're adventuresome. I mean, these are the people that do the crazy stuff. These are the people that do the mindless stuff. I mean, it's like they are just into adventure. The sanguine is much more timid about living the wildlife. It's the cholerics that live the wildlife. Okay, they just chuck it all and jump out of that plane. They just they do that zip line. They do the bungee jump. They whatever this stuff is. people are out of their minds, man. I'll tell you what. Now, I'm talking about a pure choleric here. And, you know, these are the pluses of somebody that is extremely sanguine or extremely choleric or phlegmatic and melancholy. Okay. Let's see. They have a pioneering spirit. So they were, you know, they were the first ones and probably most of the ones that volunteered to come over the Overland Trail to Oregon, you know, California, that sort of thing. They're just ready to pick up and go, and get there. And it's going to be better. It's going to be better. There's a better life. It's a better way. It's going to be great. Okay. Let's see. Finally, they are. Optimistic. Okay. Let's see here. Okay, they ignore pitfalls and potential problems. They don't even go there. The melancholy can tell you all the pitfalls and all the problems of any plan you have, but not Rocky Choleric. He just knows intuitively that when he gets to a bad spot, he's just going to keep on going and he's going to get over. As a matter of fact, adversity spurs them to prove their objective. The more you try to pour cold water, Mr. Phlegmatic, the more phlegmatics or whoever pours cold water on the choleric, on Rocky, it makes him more determined to show you that it can be done and that it's going to get done. And when it's done, I did it. Okay? So there you go. We got through 2 in pretty much the time that we have. And again, that's okay. I'll get more and more. You know, I'm used to an hour. I've said this before. In an hour, I think I could have done all 4 of them. But this, keeping it around 30 minutes works out so much better. All right, so these are the temperament strengths of the extrovert. We are going to look at the temperament strengths of the introverts next time. And of course, that is flip phlegmatic and maestro melancholy. Now, again, in closing, what we're talking about here is the innate, inborn good, okay, or strengths, good characteristics or strengths of these temperaments. Now, again, I want to remind us that there are none good save God, okay? All have sinned. All of our righteousnesses are as filthy rags. All of our enjoying, optimism, friendliness, compassion, strong will, practical leader, and again, optimistic, both of the plus side, the extroverts, they're both optimistic. They just have a little bit different way of showing it. But all of that is sin, the way we display it in the flesh. Paul said that, in me, that is, in my flesh. Okay? In my flesh dwelleth no good thing. Without the Spirit of God within us, this stuff is all garbage. It's all junk. Oh, it's nice to the people around you to have these plus things, you know, to deal with instead of the minus things. But the problem is the person can be so proud and arrogant and remind you over and over again about what a great guy they are that you can't stand them. So all of this is fruit or fruits of the flesh. And so we don't want to put any confidence at all in the flesh. All right. Now, I'm sure you're already started with maybe a spouse or a friend or somebody, you know, trying to think out, you know, who you are, who they are, who different people in the family are or whatever. Well, hang in there until we're done. And then remember that only God knows the heart. And there's some of this is so hidden that it's really, truly hard to know a person until you've lived with them for quite a period of time. And God knows the heart. He knows us intimately because He made us. All right. I hope that was informative. And next week, you get used to preaching, you know, on every Sunday or Thursday night or whatever, and you get in this next week thing. Whenever the next broadcast comes out, we will be talking about the strengths of the extrovert.